Hello Coachvox creators, it's Ben here, and in this video we're going to tell your AI the key phrases you use so it really starts to sound like you. Let's get straight into it. So here we are in training room 2, conversation. And the real objective we have with this page is to make sure your AI is really sounding like you as opposed to a generic AI. Now, of course, training room 1, we gave it a bit of your style. We told it who you were as a person and your approach to helping people. But from an actual language perspective, this is where we really dial it in. So of course, large language models are just that. They're trained on loads of language, which means they are going to talk to people like a human. So they're going to use human-like phrases. But if they use a phrase maybe as a greeting or a sign-off that you wouldn't use, your audience is going to know straight away. We're going to suspend their disbelief, and it's kind of going to fail that Turing test. Not a Turing test in a sense of whether they're talking to a real person or an AI, but certainly in the sense of whether they're actually talking to you or an AI version of you. So let's get started with greetings. Now, greetings is probably the most important section on this page because nearly everyone that interacts with your AI is going to receive a greeting. So we want to make sure that we're putting in at least 5 greetings here, maybe as many as 10 or even more. So we've got a few pre-fills that you can select here. These are the ones that I've gone for so far. And if you want to add anything else, you can simply type it in, press enter, and it's going to add to the custom ones there. You can always, of course, unselect any that you don't want anymore, and you can cross these and you can keep going. Sign-offs is the second section here. Now, this isn't quite as important because far fewer people will formally say goodbye to your AI than they do to say hello, but we still want to make sure there are 1 or 2 in there that definitely sound like you so that AI doesn't start sounding super generic. Starters is the next section, and these are really cool because when someone is interacting with your AI, they're likely to say something that's either positive, neutral, or negative. And we want our AI to respond in an appropriate way, just like you would in real life. So we want to add some starters that are both positive and negative, and a few that are neutral, although the neutral ones are kind of less important because we don't often necessarily react that much to someone just telling us information that's neither positive nor negative. So I've got some pre-fills in here. Okay, cool, nice. These are the kinds of things that I would say, but of course add some more here as well. So I might just say great. A recommendation I have for positive and negative starters is to avoid being too extreme. So the AI is pretty good at understanding whether something is generally a positive statement or generally a negative statement, but knowing the extent of the positivity or negativity is a little bit harder. So what we might find is a user will interact with your AI and say something slightly negative, and then the negative starter that we've given it is super extreme and it might come across over the top. So unless that's your kind of personality and style, avoid anything that's really, really crazy. Finally, in training room 2, we have question setup and statement setup. Now, these aren't going to be used as frequently as all the other sections because these are only going to be used when the context of the conversation is correct. However, if you do have a specific way of setting up a question or setting up a statement, add it here because if it does use those phrases, that's going to really impress the people interacting with your AI. If you are not exactly sure the kind of things that you say for any of these sections, make sure you go and ask your friends, ask colleagues, your VA, maybe go through old emails, a podcast you've been on, maybe even WhatsApp messages and social media. See the kind of things you say when you're interacting with people. That's a great source of all the things that you might be using to populate training room 2. So, as always, if you're adding some of your own greetings, starters, and setups, just double check the spelling and grammar. We don't want any errors pulling through. And as always, make sure when you're done editing, scroll to the bottom, hit save, and wait for that save success message in the bottom right. Okay, so that was training room 2, how to set up your Coachvox AI so that it uses the actual language that you use in real life. Make sure you subscribe to the Coachvox AI YouTube channel so you stay up to date with all the latest videos we have to make sure that you create the best possible AI version of you. We'll see you in the next one.